Hello and welcome back to a very controversial video from me. Because I'm walking around here. Don't ask why, I just figured that it would be a nice peaceful place. It's not. There's water and there's wind, so it's extremely noisy and I don't know at all if you can hear me. But I want to talk about something very controversial, which is Black Lives Matter. Because I noticed when I was at the National Museum in Copenhagen recently that, Denmark have a quick history of colonies in Denmark. Let's go. Denmark used to have the Danish West Indies, or Danske Vestindiske Øer, which consisted of St. Croix, St. Thomas and St. John, I think it was, and where the Danish people, like, also they had like a colony in Ghana that they actually they didn't fight for it. I think Sweden had enough of it and decided, yeah, you can just kind of have that, maybe pay a little for it. I'm not entirely sure, but I don't think there was a war about it. Anyway, Christiansberg, I think it's called. It still exists, as far as I'm aware, in Ghana. The Danish people also had that. They took, they took the famous route. It's called weapons to Africa, slaves from Africa to Caribbean, and sugar and cotton from Caribbean and to Europe, which is so logical thing to do. And definitely not very inhumane. So therefore, the Danish people naturally did that. Other than that, Denmark also had another big colony, and that was Greenland. And to this day, Greenland is still a part of the Danish kingdom, or the Kingdom of Denmark, which is different from Denmark. The Kingdom of Denmark is totally different from Denmark. Yeah, whatever. The Kingdom of Denmark is totally different from Denmark, because the Kingdom of Denmark includes Denmark, the Faroe Islands, and Greenland, whereas Denmark includes Denmark. Wow. So interesting. So, what happened, or what got me thinking was, when I was at the National Museum, there was like 5 rooms dedicated to the slave trade, which, is fine. How many rooms were dedicated to the atrocities that happened in Greenland? There was none dedicated to the atrocities happening in Greenland, or whatever you want to call it. There was one dedicated to Greenlandic culture. One dedicated to Greenlandic culture. Remember, Greenland is still a part of the Kingdom of Denmark. So I would argue they should have a special place, or get special mentions in the National Museum of Denmark. It feels like there's more about Sweden and Swedish culture than there is about Greenlandic culture, which is a weird thing, considering Sweden is sadly no longer a part of the Kingdom of Denmark as of now. And that's where my problem comes in. we can also talk about the Indian people in the United States. We can talk about the Roma people in Europe. We can really talk about any minority that we want. The thing is that when I hear the sentence Black Lives Matter, or the slogan Black Lives Matter, I'm not sure if they're included in it. I think they rightfully should be. I think there are some minorities who really don't have a voice. And while we're at minorities who don't really have a voice, is that Goose again? Oh no, is that Scores? Please don't tell me it's Scores. I really don't want it to be Scores. They're literally the worst animals ever. If someone questioned me, what would you most want to die, a tiger or a score? I would 10 out of 10 say score, because scores are terrible. Look at how evil they look if they are scores. Anyway, where was it even that I came up here? Oh, was it over there? Great when you can't find home. Oh, that's really loud. I am a little afraid to stomp around in the grass, because there are like bird nests in there, and I really don't want to be an idiot to the birds. I think we found it. Yes, we found our path. No, we haven't. It's all the way over there. You know what? I'm just going to continue along the beach. Then I'll have to walk up later. I could do that, I think. The problem is that... oh no, my camera is running out of battery. Well, if it does that, I'll have to switch to my phone. What in the world is that? That's the scariest thing I've ever seen. It really isn't, but... wait, there's a bunch of insects here that I've literally never seen before. I don't think any of them are... oh, they know I'm here. They knew I'm here. They knew I was here. I really hope there were scores in that case, because then I hope they don't come back. Go over to the mainland, annoy them instead. To get further, that was a massive distraction. I am not going to lie. What was that? Oh, that's a little bird there. Oh, okay. I thought that was like an eagle or something. To get to the point again, I think that the Black Lives Matter movement is very important. I do think it's missing something. We want equality. We want equality between races and between social classes and between genders and between all. But we want it to all people. And I would personally think that it would be easier to get all ethnic groups together than to just gone with equality for like one of them. That's maybe just me. And I'll just have to wait and see. Anyway, I do really think that it's really also because it feels so set up. It doesn't really feel like a movement. It feels like a bunch of companies or institutions saying, yeah, we are hashtag Black Lives Matter friendly. But maybe it's also just me that it feels a little fake. Because I have never, I've seen a bunch of like big companies say, yeah, Black Lives Matter. I've never seen them say like Indian people matters. Indian as no, not Indian, Native Americans. And I've never seen them say like Sami people or Greenlandic people or anything of that sort. It's always, Black Lives Matter or something. Which I know it's stupid to be annoyed about it, but I can't really stop thinking about it. Especially when I'm at the National Museum of Denmark. And yeah, our colony history is interesting. The Danish colony history is interesting. Very interesting. It's a story that really is important to tell. I do still want, because I know that story pretty well. I have no idea what have happened in Greenland. I know something horrible has happened, but it's so difficult to find information compared to compared to our whole colony history. Which I think is so wrong in any way. Because Greenland literally we still have ties with Greenland. The people on the former Danish West Indian Islands can't even speak, Danish. I just saw an interview where they tried to pronounce their street names. Many of the street names are still Danish. It was just so hilarious. Because over time, it's become, an English accent. So Charlotte Amaliesgade was one I think, which just sound hilarious to Danish person, but it really shows how little ties we have with them. We don't have anything to do with them anymore. They got sold off to the United States, and we haven't heard from them since. Wow, my camera's still running. I think that's quite impressive, actually. But really, we haven't really heard about them, heard anything from them ever since. We don't really have economic ties with them, as far as I'm aware. Even though things are actually not going so great there, I hear. Which is so sad to hear, because, they have a special place. I like my former colonies, including Greenland. I mean, Greenland is still a good friend, Greenland also has some serious problems, and I think the Greenland-Denmark relationship is very toxic, because basically the Danish people insult the Greenlandic people. The Greenlanders say they want independence, and the Danish people is like, how are you going to do that? What is your plan for independence? Because, Greenland really depends on Danish money to survive, which is so sad to see. Because yes, Greenland has some serious problems, but they are not going to be solved by being insulted by the Danish. and it actually annoyed me. It actually annoyed me, kind of, that we heard so little to Greenland at the National Museum. You would think that there was like a whole bunch of, you know, things from Greenland or things from the Faroe Islands. Nothing. The only thing that was interesting was colonies that that isn't a part of Denmark anymore. They don't have any relationship with Denmark whatsoever. They don't care. We don't care. They get all the history. The Greenlanders do not. And especially since, you know, I think it's very important, because we have so close ties with Greenland still, that we know what's going on up there. But it's really difficult, actually, to find, you know, proper information, I find. The only reason they're ever relevant is when Donald Trump tries to buy them, and then we're suddenly overprotective of them. Say, no, they're part of Denmark. Which is so stupid. I mean, yes, but they also have a will of their own. They're allowed to make their own decisions. And they're allowed to, you know, ask for help or ask us to go away if they want us to. And this is really one that I have a strong opinion on, because I want everyone to be friends, and everyone is not friends, and then Greenland just gets completely ignored. That makes me just so sad. So, again, it's not really the Black Lives Matter movement I have anything against. It's the fact that I don't really feel like we hear from any other minority, or, you know, minority is so much said, because, you know, no, I don't really know. When is the last... Has everything just been solved with the Jewish people, or do they have the same problems as the African people, the ex-African people? Or has everything been solved with the Greenlandic people, or the Roma people, or the Sami people, or anything? I will say that I was at a museum recently in Sweden. And they actually mentioned the Sami people, and it seems to be going fine up there, as far as I understand. I'm not sure if that's true, or if, I mean, Sweden is very big, and Finland is also very big, but it seems like that they actually have something to do with their ethnic groups. Whereas we in Denmark basically say, yeah, Greenland is ours, until it's not really convenient anymore. We want to be the 12th largest country on Earth, Greenland is ours. We don't want to explain why Greenland is you know, number one in suicide per million inhabitants in the world. Greenland is not ours anymore. That's making me kinda sad. That was a sad video. So I will end it on a lighter note. I can't really. But we're back here. There are 3 ferries. Everything is working out. QB.